Hey everyone, and once again we are back bringing you another spec guide, and today we're doing Havoc Demon Hunter. I figured with the release of their talent tree over on the Dragonflight Alpha, we could show you how it is to play and the beginner guide to Havoc Demon Hunter today. So as always, please like, subscribe and share and comment below any classes you want to see or anything that you would like to see on this channel. Make sure you go over and follow the Twitch. We are live Monday, Wednesday and Friday between 3 PM and 10 PM BST over in the UK. So this, as always, is going to be a beginner guide to get you into the flow of things for Mythic Plus and Raiding. And we're going to jump straight into it with your Legendaries and Conduits. Boom. So first things first, let's talk about covenants and legendaries of choice. The covenant of choice is going to be Venfia, so you gain access to the Sinful brand talent, and this is for both raiding and mythic dungeons, so there is no need for you to change anything there. The same goes for the legendaries. So the legendary of choice is Collective Anguish. Casting Eye Beam summons an allied vengeance demon hunter who casts Fell Devastation. Now whenever you cast one of your main abilities, which is Eye Beam down here, you're going to summon a demon hunter right next to you that's going to just cast Fell Devastation for extra damage. Now you're obviously going to have your Unity, which is your Covenant legendary, on your belt, which you get from Zereth Mortis storyline. Obviously if you've crafted it somewhere else, that is fine. A lot of people I see have the Collective Anguish legendary on their cape or their wrists, and some people have the Unity belt on their ring. So they're the two places. I would check Raider.io or what sort of is the best slot for you to have it in, but I've gone with the cape and I've kept the belt because right now I don't really need to change anything. Next up is Soulbinds and Conduits. So the Soulbind of your choice is going to be Najda the Mistblade, and she's going to give you Thrill Seeker. So 40 stacks of Thrill Seeker is consumed to grant you Euphoria, increasing your haste by 20% for 10 seconds. Then we're going to move to the left of the tree into Growing Inferno. Immolation Aura's damage increases by 18% each time it deals damage. So if you don't know, Immolation Aura engulfs yourself in flames, instantly causing 600 and something damage to enemies within 8 yards and radiating fire damage over the course of 12 seconds. Now obviously every time this hits something, it's going to increase its damage again and again, and this is just passive damage. You click it once and everything around you is just continuously getting damage. So having that extra damage buff on that is perfect for Mythic Dungeon environments or AoE environments. Then we're going to go into Agent Chaos, and then we're going to go into Fell Fire Haste, just a utility or a finesse conduit. Fell Rush increases your movement speed by 13% for 8 seconds. So just a flat out speed buff after you've used one of your main dash abilities. Friends in low places, then Vicious Ink, which is an endurance conduit. Demonic Wards reduce magic damage taken by an additional 10%. So it's just a flat out defensive increase. Then we're going to go straight into Dancing with Fate. The final slash of Blade Dance deals an additional 72% damage. So Blade Dance is an AoE ability that when cast, you dash around and deals damage to everyone in the area. And then we're going to go into Familiar Predicaments. So you can go this side, but a lot of people have been swapping to this side so they can take this specific conduit here. So then we're going to go into Relentless Onslaught. Chaos Strike has a 9% chance to trigger a second Chaos Strike. So Chaos Strike is one of your main spenders, and having it cast twice is just extra flat out damage. Then we're going to go from Relentless Onslaught into Nimble Steps. Then finally Fell Defender. The cooldown of Blur is reduced by 11%. So this is just another defensive increase. Blur is just increases your chance to dodge by 50% and reduces all damage taken by 20% for 10 seconds. This just improves upon that. And then we're going to go into Fatal Flaw. This is your setup for Mythic Dungeons. I'm now going to talk about the raid ones. So these are your raid conduits. The only difference is we've gone from using the left side, which is Mythic Dungeons, to the right side, which is more single target raiding. So instead of Dancing with Fate and Familiar Predicaments, we are going to go into Ravenous Consumption, which is Consume Magic has a 21% chance to remove a second beneficial effect from the target, into Dauntless Duelist. Now this is kind of huge for single target. The first enemy you damage in combat is marked as your adversary. You deal 3% more damage to them, and they deal 1.5% less damage to you. You may only have one at a time. So in a single target environment on a raid boss, this is super effective. So nothing major, nothing spectacular that you've got to change. You just go from left to right, as simple as that. Mythic Dungeons raiding. Next up, we are going to talk about your talents. So next up, and in my opinion, the most important section of any video, and that is your talents. We're going to talk about mythic dungeons and raiding talents. However, there is only one singular change between your two, so it makes it less complex and very easy to follow. So we're going to start with mythic dungeon, and we are going to go with blind fury. I-beam generates 40 fury every second, and its duration is increased by 50%. So this is a flat out increase to one of your major spells that does a lot of AoE damage and a lot of single target damage at that, and generates more fury by the end of it. Then we're going to go into Insatiable Hunger. So Demon's Bite deals 20% more damage and generates 5 to 10 more additional fury. So that Demon's Bite is your main like filler, your main fury generator, and generating more fury with that and more damage is just flat out increased damage to your overall rotation. Then we're going to go into Unbound Chaos. Activating Immolation Aura increases the damage of your next Fel Rush by 500%. So basically using Immolation Aura around you then makes your Fel Rush proc. This will then do 500% more damage to people around. And then we are going to go into Nether Walk, which is a utility talent. Slip into the nether, increasing your movement speed and becoming immune to damage but unable to attack. So this is kind of like a turtle on a hunter, but instead of just taking a less damage, you become completely immune to damage and your speed increases by 100%. So this is a better version of turtle, but just a flat out defensive. Then we're going to go into Cycle of Hatred. When Chaos Strike refunds fury, it also reduces the cooldown of I-beam. So I-beam is one of your main spells. It increases the duration of Sinful Brand. It does a lot of damage. It procs your legendary. It's basically a build around I-beam. Then we're going to go into Fell Eruption. Again, another just utility. This stuns and deals a bit of damage to the enemy. And it is great for Mythic Dungeon environments and AoE environments when you need to get off a stun or interrupt or something like that. Then the final one is Demonic. I-beam causes you to enter demon form for 6 seconds after it finishes dealing damage. So when you finish your I-beam, when the cast is done, you enter your main CD, which is Metamorphosis, which is your demon form. So basically when I-beam finishes, you will go into your demon form like this, and obviously when you're in this form, damage is increased, your leech is increased, everything like that. And raiding talents, I told you there's a very small change to the talent tree when you're talking about raiding talents, and that is a utility spell. Everything stays the same bar these two right here. So this is Mythic Dungeon, which is the stun, and this is raiding. Removes the fury cost of Chaos Nova and reduces its cooldown by 33%. That is the only change in the whole talent tree that you will need to be successful in raiding, as your main abilities don't change at all. So Mythic Dungeons, raiding, that's all you need to know. Next up, we are going to talk about enchants, consumables, and all that good stuff. So first up in this section, we're going to talk about stat priority. Now, stat priority Demon Hunter is a little bit different to your normal classes, with agility being your main focus, meaning that they gain the most from just flat out increased item level gear. So you're always chasing the next item level. Now, next up, you have haste and burst that come in at equal importance. You're going to want to sim your character to figure out what is the best for you, as this could change depending on talents, encounter, and the environment of play that you are in. So always sim it to see what is the best for you. From there, we're going to go to crit and then mastery. If you need me to teach you how to sim your character, I can do that. I can drop a video on raid bots and tell you how to sim your character, sim your gear, so you can get the best DPS possible in both environments, single target and AoE. So I'll say that again. Agility, always chase the item level. Then haste and verse on the same level. Then crit and mastery. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Next up, we're going to talk about gems, enchants, and consumables. How to get your character prepared before each encounter in a raid or before each dungeon. So, your gems are either going to be versatile jewel cluster or the quick jewel cluster. These two. So, quick jewel cluster is for haste if you need to bring that up. And versatile is, of course, for versatility if you need to bring that up. Sim your character, figure out what is the best for you in that situation. This is exactly the same for your rings. You're either going to go the tenet of haste or the tenet of burst, depending on what you need to bring up in your given situation. Next up, you have celestial guidance for your main hand, and then sinful revelation for the offhand, going into eternal agility on the boots, eternal skirmish on the chest, and fortified avoidance on the cape. Again, there is a lot of cape enchants that you can choose from, so choose depending on how you feel or what you need. Next up, we've got your juicy consumables. The spectral flask of power is your go-to flask for all DPS. Then we're going to go with potion of spectral agility or potion of phantom fire. Potion of spectral agility is your damage potion of choice. Phantom fire can be used in single target situations though. Cosmic healing potions always as a backup heal for hard situations. Then you want to go shadow core oil is your main choice for your main hand, and you should use the sharpening stone for your offhand. The food of choice is either the feast if your raid or dungeon is so kind. If not, you're going with tenebrous, crown, roast aspic, or steak a la mode. This changes dependent on your gear and your setup. So as the new cartel dinar system is in a game in which you can target specific items from raids when you kill a certain amount of bosses across the weeks, you're going to want to target the Cruciform Vein Ripper. Now you want 2 of these. These are your highest priority, getting 2 of them from the Sanctum of Domination Cartel Dinar. So it's going to take you a good few weeks to get that done, but you want to target them first. Cruciform Vein Ripper, 2 of them, then into Cache of Acquired Treasures, and then the Salvage Fusion Amplifier. They're your 4 main items that you want to target with your little currency pieces that you can now get. Now it's time for the rotation portion of the video. A few notes before we start. So we're going to start with the single target rotation anyway, but I do want to say that Sinful Brand is your main Covenant ability. It's one of your main spells and should be used effectively, right? So Sinful Brand should be kept up on your primary target consistently and constantly throughout the fight as much as you can. But in AoE environments, it doesn't just spread off use. In AoE environments, Sinful Brand is spread through using your Metamorphosis, your main CD. So when you're using it, consider diving into the mob packs to spread Sinful Brand around to them all. I would save it if you really need to use it on an AoE pack. Dive into it, and that will spread Sinful Brand around to them. So the main premise of your rotation is going to be Metamorphosis if it's available. I-Beam is on cooldown, so I-Beam, Meta, I-Beam, because Meta resets the cooldown of I-Beam. Sinful Brand on your main target, always keeping that up. Fell Rush if the Unbound Chaos buff is active. I-Beam, Immolation Aura constantly up. Chaos Strike, this one right here, Chaos Strike as your spender, and if there's nothing else up. And then you've got Demon's Bite, which is your Fury generator to generate your Fury so you can keep spending your abilities. So I'm going to show you an example of the single target rotation right here. I'm going to start with the Blood Elf the Blood Elf racial ability, which is going to generate me a little bit of Fury. Then I'm going to go straight into Immolation Aura, which is going to proc my Fell Rush with Fell Rush. Sinful Brand, I-Beam, as you can see, I-Beam increases the duration of Sinful Brand. Then straight into Metamorphosis. Then I-Beam again, increasing Sinful Brand. And because Meta reset I-Beam, then we're just going to hit it with a few Chaos Strikes. Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, Immolation Aura to make sure it's still up. Fell Rush because it was procced. Chaos Strike, Fell Rush again because it's still up. Then Demon's Bite for Fury generation. As you can see, Fury generation right here, the purple bar. Then Chaos Strike. Generate some Fury into I-Beam as it's now off cooldown. Your legendaries proccing each time. Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike. Bring Immolation Aura back up. Fell Rush because it's proc. Demon's Bite for Fury. Chaos Strike because it's a filler. Fell Rush because it's back up. Demon's Bite for Fury. And that is it. That is your rotation, guys. That is it. Demon Hunter, another class with simple rotation. If you're wanting to start off a simple class and get used to the basics of just like fighting and doing dungeons and stuff, Demon Hunter is a great choice because it has such a basic rotation. It's just about keeping Immolate up, Sinful Brand on it, and using your abilities on cooldown. Like, that's sort of the whole premise of the spec. Very easy, very fun, very satisfying spec as well, and not much to learn. So next, I'm going to show you a little bit of the AoE rotation. I'm going to be totally honest with you, it's not going to really change. The rotation for Demon Hunter is the same either way, but I'm going to show it you anyway. I'm going to show you me jumping in to the targets to apply Sinful Brand to everything. So this is 5 targets. It's going to be the same for 3 as well. So we're going to start again with the Blood Elf Racial. Boom, to generate some Fury, Immolation, or Fel Rush into the targets. I-Beam into a Blade Dance, and then Metamorphosis. Boom. As you can, Metamorphosis has now applied Sinful Brand to everything. So we're going to then into I-Beam to increase the duration of Sinful Brand on all these targets. Then we're just going to fill. The only difference is you're going to be using Blade Dance a lot more when it's up. So we'll just generate Fury, spending some Chaos Strikes, generating Fury. Now, you're not going to be able to keep Sinful Brand up on every target, right? So you just put it on all the targets and then focus your main target with keeping it up with IB. Always spending, always using your Fel Rush on procs, always building your Fury up with Demon Spy. I-Beam again, boom, then into Blade Dance. And that is it. That rotation is so simple. You're basically just adding in Blade Dance every now and then when you can for the extra AoE damage, and that is it. That is the only difference, the only change between Demon Hunter and obviously of using Metamorphosis to apply Sinful Brand to everything and then trying to keep it up on the main target as much as you can. Now, Demon Hunter, again, I will say it, very, very simple, easy to work, easy to run rotation. Definitely very fun to play, a lot of mobility, a lot of movement, and can output a good amount of damage. This class is sat around B tier for dungeons and C tier for raiding. And so, guys, that is it for the Demon Hunter Beginner's Guide to World of Warcraft. I hope this video has allowed you to enter your Mythic dungeons and your raids with ease and a little bit more confidence than you did have to pull off the damage that you need to succeed in them environments. I am Biggie Sweats. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go and check us out over on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. BST. Be there. Peace!